Well, I hope everybody had a great weekend and picked up all the vinyl that they wanted. And I was lucky this weekend to pick up just about 43 or so records at the show in Columbus and several of the shops there in Columbus. First time I had ever been to a show or any of the shops in Columbus, and had a great time that day with Ed, Aaron, and Jeremy. Hope to go back up in December and find some other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a two-part video. I tend to ramble sometimes, so bear with me. First one was picked up at the show. Pretty much a standard for anybody that collects records. Of course, it's Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, Whipped Cream and Other Delights. Now, I probably wouldn't have got this record, but my good friend Ed said he wanted to make sure I picked it up because it was in good shape and just $1, so he wouldn't have to travel back and forth from Caldwell to Martinsville. He wouldn't have to carry this with him when he came to visit. So that's in the stack now. Now the next one, good old Johnny Paycheck, Greatest Hits Volume 2. Smoking his bent-up cigarette there. Wonder if he got paid by Philip Morris to do that. Almost looks like in this picture he has 6 fingers on that hand. But either way, some good tracks on there for people that like him. I really like that third track and the Colorado Kool-Aid as well. Some of these I haven't heard before, like Rhythm Guitar. I'm anxious to hear that one. I'm also interested, I guess this must be on a different label. This says it's on Epic. But I have Greatest Hits Volume 1, and it Take This Job and Shove It's on it too. So I don't know if every Johnny Paycheck album that was ever released had that song. I don't know. Next up, another dollar find, Ian and Sylvia. Now, I've never heard this record or even could tell you that I know a whole lot about these guys, except for there's a pretty good movie that was made, Festival Express, that had a lot of my favorites from the 60s and 70s in the movie, and these guys were on that tour, took a trip across Canada. It was in the country section. Nice little story about the two. These are one of these groups that you just wonder whatever happened to. You never hear Ian and Sylvia on the radio. This was a 3 for $5 deal I found. Smiler, good old Rod Stewart. Some of those on there I'm not familiar with, but early Rod Stewart, he really rips it. In 1974, this was back in the day when Rod Stewart was really good. Late 80s, 90s, Rod Stewart, take him or leave him. Next one, I actually had this record, but it's in pretty poor shape, the one I had, and the number one reason, this is a great cover of an album. I'll probably try to frame this one. Just so much going on. Great artwork. We always talk about one of the reasons why we like collecting records is because of the artwork, and this is a great example. If you haven't heard it, Long Hard Ride on there, that's a great, great song. And Toy Caldwell, Tommy Caldwell. So this was back in the day when they were still ripping it up. Sorry I didn't make it to the Tyler County Fair to see these guys this year. Another dollar find, Doug Kershaw, the Raging Cajun fiddle player. Kind of a dandy, I guess. Really playing back on this. I couldn't tell you if I know too many of these songs or not, but that's the whole enjoyment of this. Battle in New Orleans, I'm familiar with that one. Another one for the Hall & Oates stash. Along the Red Ledge. Looks like it's a cutout. I don't know much about this record. It doesn't have any of the real big hits on it. You never know, though. I mean, if you have a mustache like Mr. John Oates, you're bound to be able to play some guitar on a good album. This is Super Champs Famous Last Words. And I'm a big fan of the cover art on this too, and this is just loaded with hits. Probably my favorite on here is Put On Your Old Brown Shoes. Really like that song, but I mean, look at the track listings here. It's almost like a greatest hits compilation. There's so many good tunes on here. Next up, James Gang, Passing Through. I really like the artwork on this one. And again, I think this is one of those 3 for $5 deals. Hard to pass up when you can get a record for, you know, less than a couple bucks. And, you know, I'm familiar with the Joe Walsh era James Gang. This is after he left. But some of these guys on here I'm familiar with. And anytime I see on here harmonica, I get a little excited. I enjoy the harmonica. Play a little bit. I'm a big Allman Brothers fan. Dickie Betts and Great Southern. And I will say, a lot of times when you see these markings of price on here, that's not accurate. A lot of wheeling and dealing going on when it comes to record collection. That's part of the hobby that I like. Great Southern. You know, I'm familiar with his Allman Brothers days. In my opinion, the best Allman Brothers had Dickie Betts. We don't know these tunes. Look forward to hearing them. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Southern Accents. This is a painting I read on here. The Veteran in a New Field, lit by the Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's a pretty famous piece of artwork, I guess, there. And if you're into Tom Petty, Don't Come Around Here No More on here. Southern Accents. It looks to be a good record. You get out of here, Manny. This one, Elton John. This was one of those ones, 3 for $5, and I didn't know a whole lot about it, but it's in pretty good shape. No seam splits, anything like that. Really nice quality vinyl. This is the late 80s, Elton, 88. I guess this must be all the different stage outfits that he wore over time. Don't know. Mona Lisa's and Mad Hatter's Part 2. I'm anxious to hear that. Don't have a lot of late 80s, 90s country, and I saw this one. It was, again, like a buck. George Strait's Oceanfront Property. Everybody's favorite. All My Exes Live in Texas. Some of these I don't know. I grew up hearing, you know, the George Strait's 20 Greatest and 20 More and all this stuff. Hey, here was a nice dollar find. Endless Summer. Really good shape. Must be a promo. You gotta have a little Beach Boys in the collection, and this one has all those good songs that you've known and come to love. Dollar find, Creedence Gold. Nothing like John Fogerty to make sure that he had the largest cutout face on here. Way to go, Fogerty. But again, some good songs on here. Have you heard about the Midnight Special? All right. Went to pay my rent on Monday, and I was talking to my landlord about how we were going to a record show on Saturday, and he says, well, here, I have something for you. Said he tried to sell them in a yard sale a few years back, and they didn't sell, and I kind of understand why, but they are in good shape. Not real big into disco or anything, but, you know, there's a few on here that are kind of nice. I really like that Fifth of Beethoven. I like that one. Bill Anderson, don't she look good? Well, it's kind of hard to tell. She's kind of blurry. Looks like they have their f-stops set, so we only really get to see Bill Anderson. But I don't know. We'll see. Very Merry Christmas, Volume 6. Oh, Perry Como. Chet Atkins. Harry Belafonte. You know, Christmas comes around, throw that one on. Looks like a religious one here, Lamb of Calvary, the Pathfinders. These were all given to me by my landlord, so, you know, just like this one. This one's probably worth at least $30, $40. They're strong together. Look at them. Look like they're having a great time. Never even heard of this group. I'm assuming it must be R&B, disco. I don't know. We'll see. See if I ever even play it. But again, it's in good shape. Alright, that's part 1. Brace yourselves. Part 2's coming up. Stay tuned.